Let's talk about input and output in C++. Prior to this, you should be familiar with input streams, output streams, and standard input, standard output, and standard error. In C++, our way of accessing standard output is via cout. So cout is our way of accessing standard output. cin is our way of accessing standard input. And cerr is our way of accessing standard error. In C++, we actually have a pretty easy way of handling iStreams and OStreams. So iStream is generally the input stream in C++, and OStream is generally an output stream in C++. So O for output, I for input. Cout is an example of an O stream. Cin is an example of an I stream. In C++, we can use this overloaded bit shift left operator, the less than, to write to an O stream. And we can use the overloaded greater than symbol, the greater than operator, the bit shift right, overloaded to read from an I stream. So let's take a look at an example. Let's say I want to prompt the user for a number, and then the user should be able to type in a number, and I will read it. I can declare the variable in which I want to store that number, and then I can write a message to standard output by doing cout less than, and then my string that I want to write to standard output. Then I can read what the user types by reading from cin. I say cin and then greater than, and then the variable that I'm storing. So basically this is like saying, write this thing to standard output. This is saying read something from standard input. This is for individual variables at a time. I could do this with an int or any similar variable. If I want to read an entire line from standard input, I can use the getLine method. So here I've declared a string that will contain the message that I read in, and then I write to standard output, enter a message. Then the user can type a message, and using the getLine method, I'm saying getLine read from the iStream, that is cin, and store it into message. So read from cin, store it into message, and now message stores whatever line was entered by the user. I can also check if the prior command that I did caused some form of an error. So if I had some reading error of some sort, the iStream will be set to a fail indicator, which I can check by calling the fail method. So I do cin.fail, and that will tell me if this is true, then the previous thing that I did not work. So then now I can write to standard error, which is also an O stream, using the exact same syntax as I did with cout, and say some form of an error message. ENDL is our way of writing a new line character. So I'm basically saying write this message to standard error followed by a new line character. Really, cout, cin, cerr, and ENDL are all part of the std namespace. So in some C++ programs, you might see something like using namespace std. What this is saying is, hey, everything that I'm going to type, check if it exists in std. So if I didn't use namespace std, if I wanted to do this, I would have to write std : ENDL, or std : cout. So these are all in the std namespace, and at the top of my program, if I write using namespace std, then I don't have to write std : before every single instance of cin, cerr, cout, or nline.